Hi there, everyone. It's Elke from Fossil Creek Nursery. How are you this lovely, no longer quite that brutally cold morning? We're going to talk about houseplants because what else would we do in this weather? We're a little bit stuck in the indoors. So we're talking about houseplants that are relatively easy to take care of, so they're beginner friendly. And yeah, let's dive right in. My first pile of plants are the Dracaenas. There is a bunch of different species amongst those guys. Let's start with the little ones that are here in front. These are a little bit unusual. This guy right here, let's make sure that everybody can see him. This one is a spotted Dracaena, so if you look at it closer, it has skinnier stems, and they usually are potted up bushy, but what I love about them is that they have this speckled foliage to them. So that's one of them. This guy here, I don't even know its species, but look how cool those leaves are on it. I'm going to go through them, and then we'll talk about what they like and don't like in the environment. All right, couple more right here. There's beauty with lots of yellow and green foliage. There's even a red edge around it. These are the marginata ones. They're also called dragon trees. As you can see, they'll get some significant stems over time that they will get tall. You can eventually put them on the ground. And then here is another variety of them. This is the Dracaena fragrans. These guys are, well, for one thing, the leaves are much wider. And also, same thing, they will make taller stems. It's hard to tell on this one. It's a little bit of a shorter plant right now, but it's really cool. It's called Tornado because it has a little bit of a twist to it. So these guys will get tall as well. I have another one right here. This guy can get leaves like solid 2 feet long. Again, will make a trunk on its own. So the Dracaenas, they vary a little bit in what they can handle. The skinny-leaved marginata one, here this yellow guy, those are the ones that can handle drier environments the best out of all of them. The corn plant, not as much so, and the other two also not as much so. Both of them, or all of them, prefer some indirect light, no direct sunshine. Again, the marginata, there is a green variety that just has the red edges. That one is probably the most sun tolerant of them all. So moisture-wise, let them dry out a little bit in between waterings, but don't let them run bone dry. We're all here pretty much talking tropical plants. So none of them are super drought tolerant except for, I guess, the next one I'm about to pull up. They can handle drying out reasonably well. So, yep, that is the group of the Dracaenas here. The next batch actually has been renamed Dracaena as well. We're looking at snake plants here. I have two different varieties here. Sorry, I got two cameras, so I'm juggling around a little bit. This guy right here, this snake plant will get pretty tall. Those leaves can get 3 to 4 feet tall. So this is the tallest one, or one of the myriad of varieties that get super tall. This one right here is more of a medium-sized one, so we can expect the leaves to get about yay tall. It's super popular because it has kind of these pale grayish leaves to it. And there's this variety here. It's a variegated bird's nest. The bird's nests are super short. They will get only about 8, maybe 10 inches tall overall, and just make more pops. So they're more like a bushy, rounded plant. And then the snake plants, they come in a bunch of different varieties. I mean, this guy here, you would never guess just looking at him, is a snake plant, and so is this one. It's a little bit more of a rare, unusual variety. And then the leaf shapes can be very different. This is kind of an upright, a little bit pokey, kind of more star-shaped one. They can also have completely round leaves, the cylindricas. So there's a bunch of different ones of these varieties. Again, they were recently classified as a Dracaena as well. Some of them have fragrant flowers. They're not the showiest flowers, but these guys you can stick from anything from, I sometimes joke, you can stick them in a closet and ignore them and they'll thrive. They're really brutally tough plants. You can let them run dry. You can put them in full sunshine. You can put them, again, in the closet where they don't get hardly any light. I mean, don't do that, but you get my drift. They can stick in a corner of a room somewhere and they will be fine. So super easy plant because they have the thicker leaves, more of a succulent type. Next up, if you want some color and potentially some height in your house, right here, I got 3 different varieties of these guys. These are crotons. Their leaf color, especially this red kind of color, they do need some direct light for that. These are, if you've ever been in Hawaii, they use them extensively there as foundation plantings around houses. And so they can handle full sunlight quite well. And these red ones in particular, if you stick them in a too low of a light environment, they just don't get enough sunlight for that, staying the nice red color. The yellow ones are not as susceptible to you losing their color as these red guys. Again, because they are out in Hawaii shrubs that are at least 4 feet tall, you can turn them into single stem tree-like plants. So they over time will need a little bit more room, especially this guy right here. You can always tell the ones with the bigger leaves tend to grow a little bit more taller and bigger overall. But easy to get some color into the house with these guys. You don't even have to wait for flowers. You'll always have some color in there. Moisture-wise, keep them medium moist. They're not the most sensitive to drying out. Yeah, so that's them. Easy guys. Got another big group right here. You know these. You've seen them in miscellaneous houses before with arms like 20 feet long. These are pothos plants. They come in different colors, like this lime green one here. We have the snow queen with quite a bit of white in there. This here is probably an enjoy with the variegation white and green. The ones that you probably know have a little bit of gold in there. That's more the common variety. And again, these are vining plants, so they're awesome for hanging pots or setting onto a shelf, and then they'll take off. They don't want direct sunlight. They tend to fry up with that, but they're surprisingly tough when it comes to drying out. So you don't have to worry about them too much, keeping them watered at all times. And yeah, super beautiful plants. Again, with these varieties of different leaf colors. And you can stick them in a corner and they'll vine from there. This is another one that is surprisingly easy. It's a satin pothos. I'm not sure, it probably doesn't show over the camera, but their leaves actually have a little bit of a velvety look to them on the top. It's another viner. You can see there is one little branch starting to take off. Similar care to the regular pothos, even though these are not truly a pothos. Their genus name is Syndapsis. I just love them because of the velvety sheen that the leaves have and these unique little spots. There's a couple of different varieties with slightly different spotting on them. So another great vining plant. Low light, just like the regular pothos. Relatively okay with drying out for a little bit. Now we're coming to a big group of plants. We're into the world of philodendrons now. So philodendron, I just read in some trade magazine that somebody named it the plant of the year. And Honestly, philodendrons are awesome. They come in so many different varieties. So these guys here are binding ones. This is a variety of a cordatum one. Cordatum is just regular green leaves. This one has kind of a yellow stripe down the center of the leaf. This one here is Micans. It's another one with very velvety looking leaves. Super cool plant. They will vine just like the pothos does, get pretty long over time. Keep them moist. Don't let them run too dry. They're maybe a little bit more sensitive to drying out than your regular pothos would be. So these are two examples of the long vining ones. There is others that don't vine as aggressively. They're a little bit slower. All right, there is two of them. Look at how goofy the petioles are on this one. Look at how cool. There's the one with the goofy petioles for you guys. There's one with these cool silvery leaves. And then they also come, they've been breeding these guys with multiple variations on variegation on the leaf. And this one is maybe a good example. Put these two down. This one here, the pink princess. You can see it's a climber. Like the other ones are, but the stems are much thicker, so they still over time will need some support so that they can grow nicely. Again, this is a pink princess. There is some with white variegation, and the white ones right now are super popular. Care is the same as for the regular vining ones. No direct sunlight. This pink here has zero chlorophyll in it, so if you get that into direct sunlight, it will burn up. I always joke with customers, it's like a redhead in full sun without sunscreen on. These guys have zero sunscreen in their leaves, so never ever put them where they get direct sunlight. And then we're still in the midst of philodendrons. This is more of a small bushy guy, brandy, philodendron brandy. This is actually more of an upright, just compact plant that will spread out. This is an Adam, philodendron Adam, which is kind of a subspecies, subvariety of the Salem type, and it's much more compact, so this guy doesn't need a lot of room. Again, water-wise, they can handle being a little bit dry, but don't let them run bone dry. Keep them in 100% indirect sunlight. Other than that, pretty darn easy. I know I'm gonna keep going for forever because honestly, most houseplants are relatively easy to take care of. This guy here is an aglaonema. They're grown for their colorful foliage. There's some that have red or pink in there. There's some of them that have this heavy white variegation. There's others that have more of a silver color to them. These are bushy guys. If you look in there, there's a bunch of different ones, and they will just spread out over time. There's some varieties that can probably get 2 feet tall with the bigger leaves, the bigger silver-leafed one, that can get probably 2 feet tall. Again, super easy. Don't expect any flowers from this. They do flower, but it doesn't look like anything exciting. These are grown for their foliage. And again, we have no sunscreen in here, so mandatory and indirect light. Don't let them run bone dry for forever, but if they dry out for a day or two, they will not get pissed off at you too badly. Another one, these guys here, peace lilies. I've seen them wilt and stand right back up. So they're not that hard to take care of. Again, a tropical plant, keep it out of the direct sunlight. And I've read before that they have a hard time reblooming. I've never had trouble with that. just take care of them, give them a little bit of fertilizer. I'll talk about fertilizer at the end of the class here. But again, a super easy plant that gives you some flowers. There's different varieties now out there. There's one that has white speckles in the leaves. It's called a domino. And then the platinum one, which is more of a grayish silver variety, which is actually pretty cool as well. All right, let's set this guy down. These here, syngoniums. These guys, show you guys up here. They come in different leaf colors. Again, not grown for their flowers, but for their foliage. This is one with smaller leaves. These guys here will over time turn into viners. If you don't want them to climb around your house, no problem, just cut that off and you can keep them as a bushy plant. But what's really cool about them is, you know, this guy here has quite a bit of pink in its leaves. This one here has pink veining on green leaves. So they come with a very wide variety of different leaf shapes and colors. And again, super easy plant, keep them moist, keep them out of the direct sunlight, and they will be just fine. Probably the easiest plants on the planet, spider plants. These guys are great for being in hanging baskets because over time there's one, he's growing an arm, and then they will have baby plants on their arms. Different variegations. I have a solid green one right here and one that has the white margins. There are some that actually have the white down the center. And then there's one that is curly-leaved. Actually really cool. They're kind of little clumpies that where the leaves curl back on themselves. They also have the white margins. So anyway, spider plants. I mean, honestly, I don't know how you kill a spider plant, short of not watering it for the next 4 or 5 weeks. This here is actually the same genus, Chlorophytum. So the spider plants, and this one are Chlorophytums. What is super cool about this one, it has these orange mid-vein and stems on its leaves. Similar care, the leaves are a little bit bigger, which means that it tolerates drying out, not as much so as the skinny-leafed one. But other than that, how beautiful is it to have this orange right there, sitting around 24/7. Promise, I have only 2 more genuses. These guys here are often confused with the aglaonemas. These are Dieffenbachias. So these, just like the dracaenas that we started with, over time will grow long trunks. You can turn these guys into a plant, excuse me, that will sit on the ground, and you just take the dead old leaves off on the bottom and just prune them up. Again, just like the aglaonema, they're grown for their variation, leaf variations, spotted, not so spotted, like this guy here has more of a white center. Bunch of different varieties, again, available thanks to plant breeding. So, yeah, these guys, again, keep them moist, keep them out of the direct sun. Promise, 1 more left and we're done. Didn't have any little guys of these. I'll set him down first. Right here, wandering dudes, as they're called, the Tradescantia. What I love about them is those little flowers. They have only 3 flower petals, And then the leaves come in a bunch of different versions of variegation or colors. I have this white one right here. Look how cool that is. This one will probably have white flowers. The flower color on these varies between the pink that we saw on the purple leafed ones, white ones for this guy, and some of them are actually blue, like a nice bright blue. So let me set them down. And here's one last one. This one is called kitten ears because it has little fuzzy hairs right there on the edges of the leaves. So this is another Tradescantia. Again, keep them out of the full sun. Except for this one right here, kitten ears, the hairiness on them is again an adaptation to higher light and drier conditions. So this guy you can expose to a little bit of direct sun. The other two, especially that white one, again, we have a redhead without sunscreen there. Keep it out of the sun. And this guy, again, can run a little bit drier. The other wandering dudes, again, a day or two dry will not hurt them. This one, a little bit tougher. So overall, this is kind of a collection of houseplants that are relatively easy to take care of in your average apartment or house. Most plants, keep them away from heater vents, especially this time of year when the heater is running 24/7. That dries out the air a lot. We're talking, again, tropical plants here. They're generally used to more humidity. And if you read up on them, a lot of them will say high to medium humidity. They are tougher than what those descriptions say, but don't make it extra hard on them by putting them in front of a heater vent. Again, that's not very kind. Fertilizing. Houseplants benefit from getting a little bit of fertilizer about every 4 weeks. When they're growing actively, you can give them a little bit extra, a mild solution, or you can put in some Osmocote type slow release fertilizer that kind of does it for you. Just realize that even though you still see those little balls in the pot, the fertilizer may have completely released out of it and there won't be anything left. Repotting, do it in spring, maybe another month or so. Repot them so that then they can grow in fresh potting soil for the summer. And that's all they need. Yeah, houseplants, like people, just a little bit of care and they will take care of you. Did you guys need any questions answered? Hi there, I see a couple of people waving at me. Appreciate you being here for the live stream. And I think this is it, so we're gonna bugger out. Bye-bye until next time.